Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another interesting video here. This time, working on a 2016 Ford Transit Connect with a 2.5 liter engine. Customer concern is a no communication, no start, no communication with the computer. Um, as you can see, I have now the scanner connected, and so far everything is working good. I have absolutely no issues with the computer. I have actually applied power, heat and everything as I normally do. Just a quick commercial. If you have any modules that you need to be sent to test, here's all my contact information. First, that is the name on the website, Mike Salazar Diagnostics. Yeah, I know my first name is spelled very different, but sounds as Mike. Yep, that is the address. If you scroll just a little down, you can have this is a button that you can press. There is my telephone number. If you click in here, this will open your email software, and then you can just send me an email, and we can start a conversation. I will respond with that immediately. Or if you want, you can click on the Let's Chat, and that will open the chat and have some automatic answers for prices and so on, right? Okay, going back to the computer. All right, so again, at 2016, I want to show this to the customer because that is indeed the B number. As I usually do, I do my homework. I really, really like to work in Ford computers. Ford wire diagrams, original wire diagrams are excellent. I really like the way they draw the diagrams because let's say on this one, if you go over to Identifix or data or whatever, or for if you have an access like I do, for original information. It's a little pricey, but if you're working on a lot of fours, it's worth it because it's a lot more information than what you can get in Identifix or any other website. Okay, so going back to this is the PCM 2301 wire diagram. So for all the ECM, you will have 2301, 02, 03, 04, and I think it's like 209, and they separate like that the diagrams. So I'm going to show you an Identifix just briefly. I think I still have it open. So yes, I can get the connectors in here, which is great. So C175E and 175B, I have a mark in here. All my connections for the test that I'm doing these computers are in connector B, which is I think 100 and let me just see because I have it in the information open. So the 170, sorry, C175B is 103 connector. C175E is 95 pin connector. All right, so all that is in there. Going into the diagrams, again, let me just go over to my bookmarks, which I always save them. Like if you open the diagrams in Identifix, which they work pretty good. I mean, these are the original diagrams. You can select the pages. It's actually up to 11. So you click on that button or menu in there and that will scroll up to everything. So I'm in number one, which is the powers and grounds and communication for the computer. So all in connector 175B, we have grounds and pins 102, 101, 102, 103. Ignition, which is a wake up call coming from the BCM on pin 21. Um, Power through a relay, which we will see here. This is supplied through a relay, and the computer activates that relay after ignition and everything is set up. And then I have actually that pin also is populated here. So this black wire is that relay. Let me show you that it's actually being activated. So the computer, when it's power on, it will put, command. I got to do this with one hand, and I don't want to unplug it because this is not a connector or something. I just put, terminals and everything in here. So just please give me one chance so I can connect this. Trying to do it without stopping the video. But you see, as soon as I turn that on, connect that on, the relay is being commanded on by the computer. So all is in good working order. I don't like to keep it on because it's an extra draw that I don't want to create on the computer unnecessarily. But yeah, so we have the command from the computer. So these two powers should be on. Again, the ignition or wake up call, which is an ignition power feed coming from the BCM. We can see here battery control module, and then on pin 21, and then we have the ISP dash R, which is an ignition. This will supply ignition to engine electronic controls and this battery junction back, so it has to go through, but it's coming from a 15 amp fuse that is hot in a start or run. So again, ignition, right? So all that is there. Oh, and I forgot to say, CAN bus and CAN low. This is high speed CAN. Ours in pin 76 and 75. The CAN high and 75, CAN low and 76, and all that is also connected. I have two channels on my picoscope connected to the bus so we can see the activity on that. And let me just show you that here. So we have, look like a one invalid ID. Let me see if I snap that. Oh, it went away. Because this is nice about the picoscope. If you have an invalid message, you can go to it. And the reason why is that message invalid is because I am in 1 milliseconds per division. If I put that in a longer time base, you will get less errors. And we can do that. So I always recommend to do, if you're doing decoding, go up to 100 milliseconds per division and then run it. And you will have a lot more information on the screen, and then you can locate if you have errors, which I don't. Again, if I stop this, I am in all buffers, so I'm going to click on the, well, actually, we can click all buffers and just go into the invalid one right there. If we find this one, again, this is very nice from Pico. It tells you where it's located. It is as a star. So why is like that? Because the way Pico is designed, it cut part of the message, but it's only one. So what is that telling me? There is no errors on communication, right? So this is also how I analyze the data, and I try to give the best recommendation for the customer. So I'm going to close all this. Let me close all this and show you how I did what, or how I get to what I have here. So I have, let me put views because I deselect those before. So I selected can high and can low in both channels, blue and red. Then I go over to match channels, and I'm going to do A minus B, which for some reason is no longer here. So I'm going to create one. So A minus B, and the reason I think is because I erase it. So that's it. I create that and finish. And now we got that match channel A minus B. So I click on that one. And now we have, in a different color, we have the A minus B. I deselect now channels A and B because I don't want to have a crowded screen full of the same information. Then I go over to serial decoding, all in the left corner, lower left corner. You click on, sorry, not reference waveforms, on serial decoding. Even though this is a high speed CAN, it's a CAN bus. So I click on CAN bus. I click on A minus B, like that we will have the entire message as all the modules always sees that. I change the threshold because it's a little too high, so I go usually at around 900 millivolts, and then the series I leave it alone, and then just click next, and then finish. And then we have what we have before, right? So I can now scroll this, and I didn't show this before, but let's say on Pico 7, if you're running Windows 10 or Windows 11, this software is great because it's touch screen, um, or set for touch screen, so I can go into the waveform and do, because I got a touch screen on here, so I can go in and zoom in here, so it has plenty of controls that I can do with this. So, but when I'm doing a CAN bus analysis, I like to drag. So I'm going to click on here, right? Because I got notes in there too. But if I click in here now, I can move this and put it on wherever I want. So I release it. I now minimize this. So let me lower all, so I can put now Pico on the left side of the screen, and I'm going to select this on the right side. See, now everything, the entire waveform is on the left side, and the entire message file is on the right. So I can catch errors a lot easier than having it on the low side, because then I will have to cut my waveform. And sometimes I'm doing an analysis or something else that says, a fuel pump that is not coming on or so on, and then I want to see that message. I have just uploaded a video doing work on Audi RS4 2007, where I show how you can use the template that you have here. So what I would do is I will disconnect the scanner, and then I will see what messages are just for the computer, because in here on this right page, I can click on IDs, and down now will separate everything in IDs. So I know these computers because I work a lot in them. So 060 is the ECM. Any other message is the scanner. And it will be more, not just 060, after you establish communication. And that's something you can also see, which if you start doing like a bidirectional control and you're trying to, populate like a fuel pump on, you will see that message, and that's how you determine which ones are coming, or which messages are coming from the ECM or from the scanner. So in this case, this computer talks and is allowing the scanner to talk on the high speed CAN. On the Audi RS4, that's not the same. Audi has a gateway, very way of Audi and Volkswagen, that the communication internally in the car is only for modules. When you try to communicate it straight like this without the instrument cluster, it does not allow to talk. It's because the scanner on that vehicle is meant to talk on the K line for diagnostics only. So they're trying to separate the bus like that. You're not intruding and creating an error on a vehicle that is working good. And I respect that. A little harder for me to do testing here. I have also gateways that I can connect, but depends on what I'm checking. I don't. But yes, you can have an instrument cluster and you can use it as a gateway, because you will have to have the translation for that, right? So, but yeah, that's a more in-depth test for what I'm doing in here. So, again, this is a computer from guy in New York. He sent us to be tested and or repaired if necessary, and I don't see anything wrong. Communication is clean. I can read the computer. What I want to do now, so I'm going to completely get out of here for the sake of the video and me showing the customer that I have indeed plenty of communication and no problems established communications in here. So I'm going to, this is just warning me to get the BCI out of the vehicle, not a problem in here. So I'm no longer talking to the scanner. I'm going to do the now an auto scan. I don't have the B number in a page in here. So let me, as you can see right now, I lost communication with the scanner, which is definitely happening. But I have the folder open in here. So the B numbers, the last digit should be 237118. 237118, and it's indeed a Transient Connect 2016. So not a problem in there, right? You saw how I lost communication at first, and that is very normal because I wasn't established communication to the diagnostic. But yes, you see right now it's the same. Why? Because it's telling me on the scanner, it's prompting me to put the ignition on. So until I move from here and the vehicle is selected and all the communication is established properly as far as diagnostics, it will still be showing that. So we can see that indeed happening. So I'm just going to just let it happen. And I mean, this is live information. So there is still no communication with the scanner or the computer. And we can see now the computer is happy as far as the CAN bus. And so is Pico. But if we go down, all we see, and here's our, well, some of this that at the beginning of where the scanner was trying to talk, but most of the messages are 060s. All right, so let me keep that on. So right now, the computer is happy, but it's not talking still to the scanner. So I'm going to select the PCM. I'm going to enter. Again, lost communication for a second because it's doing that. Now it's talking in diagnostic mode. And this is very important to understand when you're doing diagnosis on a vehicle. You can read and see all this. You see now all the messages are in blue. Everything is good. I can check full codes. Obviously, nothing is connected, so I will have a lot of full codes that are for transmission and pedal position sensors and so on, right? The pads is not connected to this, so I only have the computer. I don't have the VCM here for this one. The pads or immobilizer is on the VCM, and we can see, coolant excess of temperature because it's not connected. If I scroll down, transmission, incorrect ratio, no communication with transmission, incorrect response from the immobilizer control module. And that is definitely, of course, happening because we have nothing connected to it. But that is also good. That means the computer logic is indeed working good. Now, if I go into read data stream, I'm going to just check for the battery voltage and change that so I can see if the scanner can pick the changes on the voltage, and I can change that on my power supply. So I'm going to select battery here and just select these two bits. All right, so all I'm going to do, which I have it selected, so as you can see, I'm in 13.7. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm going to go down to like 13, and we are now showing 12.6, 12.4 on there. So if I go back to 13.7, which is usually what I give here, unless it's a BMW or so, that needs like 14 volts or 14.2. But you see now we got 13.1 and 13.3. So the scanner is reading that information, and that is all a CAN bus message from the computer over to the scanner. Communication is good, no issues at all. So guys, your computer, at least in here, is working 100%. I open it up as you see, no corrosion. I was a little um, worried about that because looking at the cover, I was looking at some corrosion, especially in this side of the cover right there. But it was just externally, it was very well sealed here. And I see, you see like a little bit of a water around, but nothing abnormal. And the computer is nice and pristine, clean. Let me move this away so, because sometimes too much light is no good for the video as far as the camera picking it up. Maybe that's a little too dark, but sometimes actually works well for you guys to see. But yeah, you can see the computer is nice and clean. I don't see any damage at all for water intrusion or burn spots. I don't want to remove the computer unnecessarily from the case due to the sealing. I do have the uh, thermal compound to reseal the computers. I use the MX4. This is a very good one. It's not conductive, and that's very important to use for automotive modules because if you put a conductive, which I have, depends on what you're doing, you have to use a conductive one. But and I have it as a paste. It's a a white paste. This is a gray color. This is the same. All you can see here, all this orange or not orange, kind of like yellow or so, is the heat compound that they put original. This is the same as BMW and Mercedes. They use this, and Ford is actually using them more now because it's a very higher quality thermal compound, but it's also very high bond, so you have to be careful when you remove the computers to scrape all that out and put a new one. Otherwise, you will start getting faults or short circuits or computer overheating, right? But yeah, again, that's why the reason if I don't see nothing tells me, okay, you need to go to the other side. I don't open the rest of the computer, trying to protect and keep that seal, which is really good. This bond and that thermal paste is really, really good quality. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.